Welcome back to NJ.com. Matt Stanmyre here once again with Mike Kinney, our high school football expert from the Star Ledger. We have another installment of the Star Ledger Scramble. Let's get right into it. From Manalapan, we have John Sieczkowski. You got to start off with this kid because he set a shore conference record with 425 rushing yards this weekend, carried the ball 44 times. This is extremely impressive when you think of the shore conference, all the history, all the tradition, all the great teams that are in that conference, and he sets a record. Who is this kid, Mike?
He's somebody now, that's for sure. You know, and a really cool thing for him, I mean, this is something he's going to have forever, the rest of his life. He didn't beat, you know, Johnny Do-Nothing's record, who like just got lucky one day and ran over some poor team. Sean Marino had the record in the short conference with 420 yards back in 2004 against Neptune. Yeah, we're talking about Sean Marino from the Denver Broncos. You know, John has got himself, you know, it's something he can tell his grandkids about, you know, and everybody else on the block for the rest of his life when he ran for 425 against Hal. Outstanding. You know, when you see a work rate like that, 44 carries with that kind of productivity and 3 touchdowns, you know, here's a kid who just will take on any job. He's durable, right? He's got speed, too. He broke one for 73 yards. So he's not just a kid who's give him 44 yards, he's going 5-5-5. He can break it, too. So he's a kid now. Manalapan will work behind, see what they can do down the rest of the way. He's, you know, what a great year. He's having a strong year, too, not just one day.
Now we'll follow his career and see if his name one day, Sieczkowski, rings the same way that Sean Marino does. We'll see. But hats off to him though. And he starts the theme of running backs this week. There were performances all over the state that were just outstanding. The next, you know, and like you said, he didn't even carry the ball the most in the state. Ben Boyer of Gloucester City carried the ball 46 times, and he had 256 yards on the ground in a 27-22 loss to Pennsville. Another outstanding performance from a kid.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been seeing a lot of this, especially the last couple of weeks. We're seeing a lot of kids and a lot of young kids too. That are carrying the ball that time. Boyer is only a sophomore, you know? So we're seeing a lot of kids with a lot of carries. It's like old-time football, it seems like. It seems like the old wing T and the old power I. Everybody's running the ball. And a lot of this is coming out of pro option and spread offenses. And the reason is now guys are figuring, we got four receivers now, but we can run the ball now because everybody's playing us on it. You got a quarterback who's established himself, he can throw the ball a little bit. All of a sudden you open that running game again. And you get a lead and you can control. You got some of these kids, I don't know what that sophomore class is doing, but we got a lot of sophomores, and we're going to talk about another one. That class of 2014 right now is very impressive.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Jersey right now, man.
In the NFL, they're just airing the ball out, but in high school football in Jersey, they're keeping it on the ground.
We're back in the 60s, man. Running the ball 40 times.
And the guy you got to mention that we're talking about next, Jamauri Bogan of Union, he leads the state in rushing, 1,699 yards. This kid is a sophomore too, right? And just putting up fantastic numbers. He's been in the news a lot this year. Does this kid have major college potential, you think?
Absolutely. You know, here's a kid with speed, with cutting ability, and Bob Bear, who's our guy on Union County, he gave me a couple really cool notes about what Bogan can do. He said, you know, you think he's fast? Just ask Elijah Hughes if he's fast. You know, he can't be caught. He's going crazy. And he said, and this is really cool. This is what we love about high school football. And Bob said, he's so good that he's being asked now. People are texting him and emailing him and asking, stopping him in games. When's Union play again? When's Union play again? I got to see this kid. So here's people have nothing to do, don't care about Union other than they're seeing what Jamauri Bogan's doing, and they want to see this kid play this year. So
definitely
exciting, man. Almost 1,700 yards.
It's crazy. And like we said, he's only a sophomore. I mean, this kid has a chance to really etch his name in some history books.
300 yards against Hillsborough in the first half.
Unbelievable. Another kid who's unbelievable. This is a good story. Greg Jones from Colonia. We covered his game last year right after the Eric LeGrand tragedy where he suffered a spinal cord injury. And Jones said back then that he was inspired by LeGrand. And we're told now that he's been feeding even more off of LeGrand's positive attitude and everything. He's another top running back really leading Colonia, right? Yeah.
You know, Eric LeGrand, obviously, the people who know the young man from Rutgers, paralyzed last year, but also from Colonia, an all-state player from Colonia, linebacker and running back. And he came in that was his idol when he started school, Mr. Jones. And he said, this is the kid I want to be like. This is the kid I want to be like. Now, he has broken, he's in the process of breaking all rushing records at Colonia. Started since he was a freshman. He's now over 3,000 yards. We're talking 3,318 yards rushing, career 50 touchdowns. He's still got season left in his senior year. But like you said, now what's happened with Eric, and Eric is dynamic as he is. You know, he just mesmerizes us, man, with his
smiling,
upbeat attitude and his, you know, he's just so determined. He's going to walk again, and he gives strength to anybody who gets near him, and that's what Greg has done. Greg has latched onto that and said he's even more of an inspiration now than when he was that bull running the ball, and I saw him when I was idolizing him when he was running the ball for Colonia. So that's fantastic. Eric just touching people's lives all over the place, and great to hear Greg Jones speak that way. And John Haley told us that, you know, for our Middlesex guy.
Great story. And then also, you know, to finish off, we got a quarterback who's running the ball too, Juwan Jackson from Shabazz. Shabazz is back on track. They beat Nutley this past weekend to get to 5-2 on the year. He's a quarterback known for throwing the ball, but he started running it pretty well.
Big 6'5", 200-pound kid with a big, strong left hand. He can air the ball out. He's a kid, he transferred from Don Bosco Prep, as a matter of fact. And he was a kid, a lot of people said, oh, he's just a thrower, just a thrower. He's going to sit in that pocket, and he's going to stay in that pocket. So if you can pressure him, things might not happen. He may rush the ball. But against Nutley, and Nutley had that pressure on him, he rushed for 148 yards. And I'll tell you what, when he got out of that pocket, and he got 2 or 3 steps with those big, long legs at 6'5", he's scary. Very, very scary. And he's got an excellent receiver. He's got Tyshawn Hedden, who's one of the better receivers in the state of New Jersey. To look at him, you've got to pay respect to Tyshawn Hedden, because he'll catch everything and he'll get open. And you've got to respect his arm. But now, if he gets flushed out, he was very impressive. And I asked him after the game, this is something we can expect of you? He said, I just have the confidence now. I feel like I'm becoming more of a complete quarterback. That's part of becoming a complete quarterback. And so now I'll do what I need to do, and running's there, I'll do it. So you got to watch this kid when he gets out of the pocket, man. He's an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, DBs aren't going to want to tackle a guy 6'5", 2 and change. So good for him. Keep an eye on Juwan Jackson. And again, make sure you're checking out our high school football blog at NJ.com, checking us out on Twitter, and also picking up the Star Ledger. We'll see you next time.